Chapter 6. That's a big key. I was unsure what the next clue was. I went over the legend phrase that Margaret said over and over again. A green string. What green string? I mean, would it be like if I had a green shirt and pulled a loose thread from it and said, "Ha-ha, I have found the green string"? I know, sarcasm scars the soul, but let's get real. I must have thought about it all night. Well, Flynn and I were back at the hotel when we got ready for bed, and as I lay in bed, I sat up in the bed and looked over to the other bed and saw Flynn fast asleep. Yes, he was snoring. So now I definitely couldn't concentrate with his constant noise. I decided just to fight through my constant wondering and Flynn's annoying snoring and just sleep on it. The next morning we met up with Margaret and Mary, how nun-sounding, outside the hotel, and they drove us to our next clue. I was in my adventuring outfit that resembled my great-grandfather, along with my fedora, satchel, and whip. You wouldn't happen to tell us where or even what this next clue is, would you? I asked Margaret in the driver's seat.
Why don't you just look over there?
She said, pointing her finger. Flynn and I looked out the window and saw a structure that when I saw it, I knew that I would have to do a traditional thing when in Ireland. But frankly, it's a little gross. The car pulled up to a gate, and Margaret gave 4 pieces of paper to a guard. The guard smiled and waved us on. I soon saw the Irish masterpiece known as Blarney Castle. No, not Mayberry's Deputy or a purple dinosaur. I mean Blarney. They stopped in the parking lot, and the 4 of us proceeded up to and through the castle. So, start explaining, Margaret. Why are we at Blarney Castle, if I had to guess?
This is the next clue. The Blarney Stone is a key.
Now, to be fair, I have heard some crazy things in my life, and if you don't believe me, give a listen to my other adventures. Anyway, I thought she was losing her mind when she said that the Blarney Stone was a key. Also, a key to what? I don't think there was a lock in the world that would be able to fit a large rock. Maybe it requires a touch, Flynn suggested.
Well, according to the legend, if you kiss the Blarney Stone in a specific spot, you open a secret passageway that will give you the other part that would lead you to the treasure,
Mary answered. Oh no, absolutely not. If you think I'm going to literally bend over backwards to kiss an unsanitary piece of stone, then you are thinking wrong. Besides, what if I lose my trademark fedora? I bend back and off it goes. Also, why should I have all the adventure and fun? Perhaps one of you should take a chance at attempting a possible dangerous task. Any takers? You've done weird things in the past, haven't you, Flynn? Oh, this was just a hobby of mine. I want you to be the one to enjoy each part of the adventure. I suppose he's right. After all, it is my name in the title of the story. We all made our way up to the top of the castle where the famous or infamous, whatever your preference is, Blarney Stone hung. There were a few people ahead of us in line. People stepped up, and a guide hung on to the person. The person grabbed 2 handles and would kiss the Blarney Stone. That was it. Easy, right? Wrong. I was shaking like Elvis Presley on stage. Margaret, Flynn, and Mary tried to calm me down, but that didn't work. I tried to pull my fedora over my eyes, but I was just too darn nervous. I approached the guide and extended my hands out, and he caught my back. I leaned back, and I saw the handles and grabbed them. I tilted my head back, and I quickly looked at the stone. Nothing seemed to point out, but I tried something. I moved my head closer to the stone and kissed 3 times. I know, 3 times. Disgusting, isn't it? However, I did it in a particular way. I kissed in the shape of a cross. Or shamrock, hint hint, fashion. I bent back up and took a huge exhale. I raised my hand and felt the top of my head. I said, the top of my head. That means my fedora was gone. I looked behind me and down at the stone. Thankfully, there it was, sitting on these rungs that prevented you from falling, if you did. I reached out, but no dice. I released my whip and wrapped one end around one of the rungs and the other around my waist. I gently lowered myself. Meanwhile, the guide was giving me the most outrageous looks, like I was going down to a pub and doing a little too much tour-lure-luring. Would you like me to get that for you, lad? Almost got it. Then it happened. A nice gust of wind blew the fedora away. My mouth was wide open, and I don't think I could close it. Seriously, I tried. Literally wouldn't budge. I couldn't believe it. My prized fedora. My great-grandfather's prized fedora. It was gone. Blowing in the wind across the country of Ireland. At least I hope that's where it was. I came up from the stone and went back to my group. For some reason, they all had smiles on their faces. Of course, I had a very depressed look. Danny, we've got some news for you. Well, I have got bad news then. I lost the fedora. The girls immediately came over and put their hands on my shoulders. Note to self, sympathy is great for hugs from girls. Just kidding. I really don't want to miss my female audience.
Well, perhaps this'll cheer you up.
The girls raised their hands in a Vanna White type fashion, and Flynn stepped aside and showed an opening in the castle wall. Inside the hole was a collection of mini shamrocks, like a necklace. It wasn't my fedora, but I was happy to achieve another piece of the puzzle. I guess the Blarney Stone is a pretty big key. I took the necklace and put it in my satchel.
Let's see if we can do something about that fedora of yours,
Margaret said, taking my hand. Mary followed us, and Flynn was looking back at the hole. Hey guys, what about the hole in the castle? Just then, the hole sealed, and Flynn shrugged his shoulders and followed me and the girls.